Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to another video. My name is Prince Meyson. Today we're going to be retouching this image from Photo-Me-Ike. So if you do not know who Photo-Me-Ike is, then you are living under a rock on YouTube. Photo-Me-Ike is an amazing photographer in the US, and he takes amazing images. He has an amazing YouTube page. You guys should definitely check him out. I follow his content constantly. He puts out really informative and fun content, so you guys should definitely go check him out. I'll put a link to his page in the description below. And he took this photos, or these are two photos I got from a bunch that he took at WPPI. So you guys should definitely go check him out. I reached out to him and said, oh, can I retouch one of these on my channel? And he was like, absolutely. So big shout out to Photo-Me-Ike. You guys should go watch that video. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description below. And also just leave a comment there and say you're from Prince Meyson. I really appreciate that if like a ton of you guys can go there and tell him that. Yeah, so today's video we're going to be retouching this amazing picture that he shot. He shot this, I think, with a Z6, a Nikon Z6, and as you guys can see, the settings here: ISO 200, 1/125th, f7.1, 85 millimeters. Just an amazing picture. If I zoom in, you guys can see how sharp the image is, and the fall off from these lenses are just amazing. I was just geeking out with him yesterday over how amazing these new Nikon lenses are. So yeah, you guys definitely go check him out. So now, what are we going to do with this image? The first thing I can see is because she's really light skinned, you can see that the light bounces off her skin a lot more than in a lot of dark skin images that I do. So that's one of the first things that we're going to fix. As usual, I'll come to my levels adjustment layer. By the way, I'm using Capture One, and I am in the exposure tab and just pull in my whites. Also, for this image, I'll turn on my exposure warning so I can see the bits and pieces that are getting overexposed in my image, and just pull in my blacks just a little bit. I don't want to do too much on my curves, right? Just pull this out a little bit too. Then I'm going to come to my high dynamic range and probably just drag my highlights down, but not too much. You know, I still like the glow she has on her skin, so I'm going to leave a little bit there. Then my blacks, maybe just drag my blacks down just a little bit, nothing too much. My whites, pull that down. Then not really sure what I'm going to do with my shadows, but let's see what this looks like. Probably drag in my levels a little bit too. Okay, this looks good. This looks good. So let's create a new variant so we can see our before and after. So this is where we started with, and this is where we are right now, before and after. You guys can see we added a little bit of contrast to the image, and I love how it looks right now. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, you see her hands are kind of different from her face, and this is a normal thing when it comes to photographing people, because I know the skin around the face sometimes tends to be different with the hands. You can see the hands look a lot lighter, just a little bit more pale. So we're going to fix this. So what we're going to do is come to our layers up here and create a new layer, and we're just going to name this skin. So what we're trying to do in Capture One right now is balance the skin tones around her face and her hands. We just want both of them to look the same, right? So what I'm going to do right now is just pick a brush, just create a new layer by mistake. So pick a brush and paint over her hand. Make sure my opacity is at 100%. Need this to be really fast. So just paint over her hand. This is the amazing thing about Capture One. Being able to create layers is just amazing, because it just helps your workflow a lot. Now it's okay if it touches her face, you know, we're gonna still paint over her face, but for now I just want to match skin tones. So I'm going to go to my what would I call it? Is this the color tab? Yeah, the color tab, and come down to skin tones. Then I'll pick from her skin. So I'm just gonna click on this color picker tool and pick a point on her skin where I'll be using that as reference to even out the rest of her skin. So all you have to do is just pick the best point on her skin that you want as reference for the rest. So what I'm going to do right now is just drag my hue, drag my saturation, come up here, increase the saturation. As you guys can see, her hands are looking better right now, and my hue, I'm just going to, okay, somewhere around here is fine. Okay, great. then the lightness. Okay, somewhere around here is good too. So same thing for this, but now that's too much now. So I'm just messing with these sliders here till I get something that is, is good enough. I'm also going to add another should I say layer. I'm just going to do something else in Photoshop to balance the skin tones a lot more, but Capture One helps a lot, in easing out the process. So this is the before, this is the after. You guys can see how far. I'm going to turn off my exposure warning right now. So this is the before, this is the after. Before, after. You guys can see how far I've come from where we were before, right? So now what I'm going to do is come back to my skin, and I'm just going to pick a brush, and I'm just going to paint over her face. As you guys can see, I'm avoiding her lips. I just want on her eyes as much as I can. I just want one color all the way. Okay. Okay, great. You guys can see we have almost one color, but I feel like it's too saturated, so I'm just going to dial this down just a little bit. Her hands still look a little bit overexposed, but we're going to fix that. Just dial this down just a little bit. So let's see our before and after, before and after. It looks good. I might just reduce the opacity of this layer just a tad bit. Now I just need to reduce how bright our hands are, and we'll be good to go. But this is a really good starting point. So now we're just going to, I think we're done here. I got some on her lips, so I'm just going to go to my eraser tool and remove. Oh, made a mistake. Renamed this skin. So now I'm just going to go to my eraser tool and paint this off. Eraser. Paint this off her lips. Pick my brush tool. Now, the only problem I have with Capture One and the brushes is that it's not, how do I put it, it's not as good as working in Photoshop, let me put it that way, but it just works. It's still nice having that option, right? So now that we're done here, let's see our before and our after. Look at the hands again, before and after. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's a good jump in Capture One, and when we take it to Photoshop, we are going to continue from there. So now let's take this image to Photoshop and we'll retouch it, because right now we're done with everything that we're going to be doing in Capture One. Simple. So guys, now we're in Photoshop and we're going to go over a few things that we're going to do to this image. So the first thing is obviously smoothing out the skin, removing a few blemishes. She has really nice skin, and we just have like a few things to take out, nothing too much. Then also we're going to work on the hands here. We're going to make it darker, maybe through dodge and burn or something, I don't know, but we're just going to work on it, make it like really match up with her face. Probably just add the even skin tone action that I created, and we'll see how that works. And then I'm not doing too much to the flyaways. I'm just going to leave, not doing anything at all. I'm just going to leave the flyaways. At the end of the day, the background is going to be a little bit dark, and we're also going to take these things out. So I feel like that's the major stuff. Then maybe just fix her nails here. So let's get into working on this image. So the first thing I'll do is run my basic frequency separation action. And let's see, a radius of 14 is fine. If you want the action, I have it out for free, or you can go download the whole essential pack that consists of 14 pro retouching actions that you can always use, and you can use that to follow me. Yeah, so let's get into this now. I'm just going to pick my clone stamp tool, and what I'm going to do right now is make sure my sample is set to current layer, make sure my brush is I'm just going to reduce the hardness of my brush to 0 and come down to my high layer, and what I'm going to do right now is just remove the blemishes. So let's get to doing that.
Okay guys, let's see our before and after removing our blemishes. So this is our before, this is after, before, after. As you guys see, there wasn't so much to do. If you don't know anything about removing blemishes with the clone stamp tool, all you have to do is hold option or alternate and sample and brush. So sample and just brush over, sample. So just sample somewhere that's close to the blemish you're trying to remove and just brush over. So let's do it for the nose right here. Sample, brush, sample, brush, sample, brush. We're just going to take all this out of here, just make this place look a little neater. And yeah guys, that is about it. That's about it. So right now we're going to move into micro dodge and burn, and after that we're going to do global dodge and burn. But before that, what I like to do is, since all I do with this layer is just remove blemishes, and it's just a lot easier for me than using the clone stamp tool or any other tools like the healing brush or the spore healing brush or the patch tool. This is just a lot easier for me, but you can use any of those ones to remove it. So what I'm going to do right now is just Command E and probably just name this blemish. So now I'm done removing the blemishes from this. What I want to do is remove these things from the background. I actually forgot to do that before removing the blemishes. So all I have to do is just pick my lasso tool right here and just draw over it. So let's take this first one out first. Right click, go to fill, change that to content aware. Yeah, content aware, and click OK. And now this is just going to take this out. Hopefully it does it like in a good way. So yeah, see, that's nice, it's gone. And we're going to do the same for this one too right here. Just select this, right click, go to fill, content aware, and click OK. And that's it, we're done removing that. See, simple and easy. So what we're going to do right now is go back to the actions panel, and we're going to create what should we do? I think we should create a complete dodge and burn action, right? Yeah, I know it's going to come out like this, but that's fine. If you have this my action pack, all you have to do is just uncheck the invert layer. But that is what we're going to be using to do our, or this is our check layer basically. So that's what we're going to be using for our dodge and burn. So what we're going to do right now is just pull this back. So right here we can see, at this point we can see all the dark patches. So what we're going to do is come down to micro dodge and burn, the first one, pick a soft brush. Let's see, what's our flow going to be on? Our flow, let's use a flow of 2 or 1. Let's use a flow of 2. And we are going to blend mode is normal, and we're going to set our brush, our foreground color to white, and that's it. So right now I'm just going to burn away. Now when you use the invert check layer, it inverts the image, and because it's showing in black and white right now, what happens is that everything that is bright on the image, when you invert it, turns dark. So if you look here, somewhere around here, this is bright. When you invert it, see, it turns dark, right? And everything that is dark, all the shadows, turn white. That's the whole idea. It's like the opposite. That's what happens when you invert. So right now, since I'm burning, and everything that I'm working on, that is, I'm going to be burning the highlights on the skin, is going to turn black. Now the way you know you're doing the right thing is if you start burning, let's say I'm burning and it's not getting darker, it's getting lighter. That way you know you're doing the right thing. But if you are burning and for some reason it's getting darker, let's say I'm using the dodge tool on the dark parts, right? Can you see it's getting darker? That means you are doing the wrong thing. So let me just Command Z and undo that. Go back to my burn tool, and like I said, we're just burning the highlights that are here. So we're just going to start burning, and I'll be back in a bit. So when I dodge and burn, I like to dodge and burn at the same time. So right now I have been burning this image. So let's see our before and our after. See, we're making progress right now. So what I want to do right now is switch to my dodge tool, and typically I don't do it this way where, you know, I'll burn for a long time then dodge. What I just do is that I just work on one part and I'm dodging and burning at the same time. So I'm moving between my dodge and my burn layers at the same time, and that way it just makes things easy and it just smoothens everything out. So let's just keep dodging and burning. So now I'm done with the micro dodge and burn process. As you guys can see, I just used only the first micro dodge and burn group. I did not use the second one, and that's because this image just looks really good. There isn't so much to do on this image. As you guys can see, the before and the after. Now the amazing thing about working with dodge and burn like this is that you can always reduce the opacity if you feel like you've done too much, or, you know, just leave it that way. But, you know, I think this looks really good, so I'm just going to leave it this way. Let's zoom in and see our before and our after. So this is our before and this is our after, before and after, and I think it looks really good. Now another reason why you shouldn't spend too much time on dodge and burn is because you can always clean up the skin just a little bit more, especially when it comes to like going in all the way and taking out all of these things, like all these tiny blemishes that are here. What you can do is just use frequency separation to smoothen out the face a little bit more. So that's what we're going to do right now. We are going to delete our second dodge and burn because we don't really need that, and undo our global dodge and burn. So what I'm going to do is come down to my micro dodge and burn and create a stamp visible layer. So command option shift and E, control option shift and control alternate shift and E on PC. And now that I have created a stamp visible layer, what I'm going to do is just run an advanced frequency separation action. 14 is fine, so I'm just going to click OK. So I have my advanced frequency separation action right here. Now the reason why I'm creating an advanced frequency separation is if for some reason I have done too much on the low or the high layer, what I can do is always, you know, just delete it, duplicate whatever layer is below it. So if I have messed up on my low layer, that's my low copy, what I can do is just delete, command J to create the duplicate layer, and I'll hold option which alternate on PC, hover between both layers, and I'll just clip the layer down to my low frequency layer, and it's back to being like a brand new frequency separation layer to start working on. If I use the basic one and I made a mistake, or I would have to delete the whole frequency separation process, you know, not minding what I have done with my high frequency separation layer, and start over again from the beginning. So this is why this is nice. Now another good thing about doing frequency separation again after dodge and burn is if for some reason there are some things that I could not take out with my dodge and burn, I can always just take out my high copy. So I'm just going to pick my clone stamp tool again, and what I'll do is just take out some of these things close to our eyes just to show you guys how that works. And see, I've removed this, so there's no need for me to actually go in and do so much dodging and burning. Right now, that's not the reason or the major reason why I'm creating my frequency separation layer again. The major reason why I'm doing that is so that I can just use my mixer brush tool to smoothing out the face. Now, if you know nothing about frequency separation and using the mixer brush tool, I have a few videos on that. I'll put a link in the description below. You should definitely go watch them. You will learn how to use the mixer brush tool with the frequency separation real quick. I think that was even the last video that I put out, right? So what I'm going to do right now is just pick a big brush, and I'm just going to run this over my subject's face and maybe a little bit over our hands on the low frequency layer, the copy, right? So now I'm just going to paint over. Now it's okay if you feel like you've done too much with the mixer brush tool. The good thing is that it's on its own, it's in its own group and it's on its own layer. So what you can do is always just reduce the opacity. So it's fine. Don't be too afraid of doing too much. So what this will just do is smoothing out whatever you could not fix with dodge and burn. Okay guys, so we're going to zoom in right now and I'll show you the before and after. So this is the before, this is the after. You guys can see just smoothing out the skin just a little bit more, nothing crazy. We have done most of the work with dodge and burn. As you guys can see, I just want the line around the nose to be a little bit straight, so you know, I fixed that a little bit and that's it. Now the reason why I do dodge and burn before frequency separation is I can work on the highlights, the shadows and the midtones with dodge and burn without actually affecting the color. And with the frequency separation, when all those things are smoothened out, I can now just move colors around just a little bit. Now if you start with frequency separation, then you start moving colors around from the beginning, which is not really a good idea. But if you're not working on a beauty image, then that's fine. You know, you can just go ahead and do that. Nobody would really notice, right? So now this is where we're at with this image. Let's look at our before from the beginning and let's look at our after. So before and after. So yeah, so that's all for this part. You guys should definitely tune in a few days, or the part 2 is coming just right after this video. So for the first part, what we did was we worked on this image in Capture One and we brought into Photoshop and we removed the blemishes with frequency separation, moved to dodge and burn, micro dodge and burn. We've done that and now we are using our advanced frequency separation to smoothen out the face. So the next part, we're going to do global dodge and burn, whiten the eyes, and we're going to color grade this image and also fix her nails. That's what we're going to do in the next part. So definitely tune in to see how that's going to go.